Thanks for tuning in. My name's Carlo, and we're going to have so much fun. We're going to check out Paragon and Mastercheck, both by NUGEN Audio, two amazing plugins, and let's start kicking some tires. Now, what's really fantastic about Paragon, the reverb, is that it brings a whole new level of realism and detail. You can load IRs, and you can also manipulate the IRs that you bring in. Plus, it also does surround sound as well as stereo. Let's check it out. Here. Let's take a listen to this piano. This is a mono, one microphone on a piano. Let's have a little fun. So let's put this piano, this single source, in a spacious stereo environment. All I did is load NUGEN Audio Paragon on an effects bus here, and I'm sending the mono piano to it in default. Let's take a listen to this. Here's before. And here's after. Now, if you're familiar with reverbs, or whether you're not, let's look at some of these parameters. For example, a high pass and a low pass. This is really great. You can actually box in the frequency amounts regarding the lows and the highs. So if you maybe did want to exclude some of the low energy in your reverb, then this is where you would do it. Very easy, very streamlined, and just crystal clear. Let's take a listen to this. Easy to use, fast and reliable. Now, some of the other parameters, we have pre-delay, the decay, size, and the brightness. So let's say the reverb was a little too bright. You could just lower it down by a percentage here, because all the way up to 200%. Let's audition this. Let's bring it up. Bring it down. Oh, I really like that. And of course, the size. Let's increase our pre-delay just a little bit. Go up 11 milliseconds. And let's really open this room up a little bit. Here's before. Here's after. Now you've got left and right here. You can actually solo either side if you wanted to do that. It's only throwing the reverb now into the left side for us to reference. Let's solo the reverb only in the right side. There. So you can shape and contour your reverbs to taste. A really easy and fun way to connect with this plugin. Let's go to some of our presets. I want to show you something. You can go by category here, and it comes preloaded with a lot of different presets here to get started with. And not to mention, you can make them favorites by selecting the hearts here. Let's go to an air room. And you can audition these in real time by selecting them. Let's go to a dark chamber. How about a large, bright hall? How about a large theater? Room ambience? There. So we're opening up this piano. We're actually stereoizing it in a sense with our perceived listening there. Paragon does something that I always really I appreciate so much, because NUGEN Audio is so innovative and giving of their technology. Let's try something really interesting here. I want to choose a preset. Let's go to Bright Chamber again. All right. Now, check this out. We're on main here. If I select IR, we're giving this awesome graphical interface where we can now see the impulse related to the chamber here. And we can start to edit it we can start editing the impulse in auditioning. If you look over here to the right side, we've got both music and Foley and a loop. I'm going to select loop here, and it comes with some samples for you to audition the different reverbs and how you change the parameters to taste. Check it out. I've got guitar here. Here's a sample guitar that it's going to loop with this active. Let's try a harmonica. Some singing. I love that. Let's loop that and let the singing play while we contour the impulse response. Darker. Let's make it brighter. Oop. How cool is that? So, as I mentioned before, NUGEN is really generous with their technology, giving you the ability to select samples and to bundle them up and include them with the plugin is something I've never seen before. Because, you know, you could use your own audio, of course, but having these examples and being able to audition them and hear them in different environments. Watch this, reverb model. From here, I can choose different ones. Let's go to Summer Forest and hear that singing again. I'm going to reset my EQ curve here. Okay, there. It does sound like a forest. That's amazing. Let's go to Stairwell. That sounds amazing. Really tight. And while that's playing back in real time, we can audition different environments. That's a nice one. Down at the bottom, we've got our mix, our wet dry mix to blend it in, and a trim if you need to increase the volume a little bit like I did. I went up a couple of dBs there. Let me bring that up to about 6 dBs. All right. Now you also have some I/O. What is a high quality NUGEN audio plugin without some amazing metering? And below that, we have some settings. You could choose the different settings for your visualizations. Okay, let's go back to main. Let's try this on a different instrument now. Let's bring in some guitar. Let's change the settings a little bit. Nice. It's a little bit tighter, and you can still hear it spread out in the stereo field. Here's before. Big difference. And here's after with a little Paragon magic. All right, let's add it on the next guitar here. Let's bring them both in. Just sounds so realistic. Let's try a large club. Yeah, nice reverb tails. Let's try something tighter, maybe room ambiance. See if that is the key. Yeah, there it is. Let's bring in our piano. There. Now this is Paragon on some solo instrument tracks, piano, and 2 different guitar tracks. Let's try this out on some big drums next. All right, so I loaded a session with some live drums, and I bust the snare drum here into a drum reverb with Paragon. All right, let's take a listen to just the snare drum first, without the Paragon reverb. Nice clear snare drum. Let's bring in a little bit of reverb magic. Really fills the space, doesn't it? All right, let's find something that really works here, and we'll contour it to taste. I'll start with a preset. Let's go to it's fun to try these all out. Let's go to I'll go to Small Room 2. Here's before. Here's after. Now, I'm going to cut off some lows. Bring in a little brightness. And let's increase our size a little bit. All right, let's bring this in the mix. Oh, that sounds great. Let's bypass that and let's hear the original. Now let's create a little bit of space and color with the snare drum using Paragon. And it wasn't hard. Basically, we called up a preset and we contoured it from there. Now, if you wanted, we could actually start from scratch. Let's bring in the IR, okay? Let's check this out. Office. Okay. Let's audition some of these and we can contour cave mouth. Let's hear what this sounds like. That wouldn't be so bad. All right, let's go back to main and let's choose air. Yeah, I'm having fun using these presets. That is so big. I love it. I will hop back to the IR for a second because I wanted to remind you how easy it is to contour the shape of the EQ, you can double click here and you can add nodes to boost or cut these impulse responses, the tonality of them, okay? So that's how you can do that. You can keep adding as many nodes as you need, okay? And put them anywhere you want. I created 4 nodes there. And at any time you want to start over, just select one and exit out. But this is the reverb model that we're working with here. Now back at the main, let's see if we can do a little bit of maybe some guitar work. Here we go. Let's tune into this here. Here's some guitar work. I love that I left it on that big giant room. Let's go back to something a little bit smaller. Slap back. Small club, love it. Tight, sounds good. Let's go to our guitar, as I was pointing out to you before. Let's solo this. Now that's a mono guitar, you can see, center here, and we're panning the guitar all the way to the left, and the reverb all the way to the right. So we're casting it, we're throwing that reverb. Let's do that again. Let's bring the brightness up. Let's bring that in the mix. And of course, when you are done with your mix, I love reverbs. I'm getting a little carried away here, but I really wanted to demonstrate it with different instruments. We did piano, guitars, some snare drum, and some more guitars in this mix. I wanted to show how you could cast the reverb like that. Really great technique. And actually, a lot of bands like early Van Halen and such use techniques like that, and their songs still sound great today. When you're done with your mix, and you want to audition it, test it out, we need to use an application called Mastercheck. Let's dig right into that right now, and I'll show you how to get the most out of it. Next up, we've got Mastercheck by NUGEN Audio. Now, this tool is really amazing because it's going to allow me to hear my mixes in advance of what they're going to sound like when they're streamed on the internet through any one of the industry standard codecs. And resources like YouTube or Pandora or Spotify or TV and film. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do I want to know in advance? Well, there's so much advantage to that because if you know what is going to happen to your sound later, you can take advantage of that and be creative now and prepare a mix just for that streaming service. And the advantage is it keeps you in the creative control the whole time. And I'll walk you through some of the processes and steps that I use because we're going to be using this for stereo music, not film. It does surround sound. All right, so let's take advantage of this in a stereo track. I put it on my master here. So any audio that I play through this, I'm now going to get the information regarding its loudness. Now, I've put Ozone here to do some mastering for us. Let me bypass that and let's play my audio track straight through Mastercheck without any mastering at all.
Why do I do what I do? Things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you. I'm living too many lies of you.
So what we're looking at here is the unit LKFS. You could change that if you're used to LUFS. Come down to the settings, and right here you could change it from LK to LU. All right, so you can conform it to whatever standard you want. You know, Europe or US or any worldwide one. And next, we're going to have the program loudness here. This is going to fluctuate and move with the loudness as it changes with the mix. And we're giving that information here in values. And this is my current weighted loudness. Now, to get a real accurate number, you'd have to play the entire track all the way through. But for this example, we're just going to start with verses and choruses. So it's giving me an average of about -20 right now. Let's do some preliminary mastering. Let me take ozone out, and let's, it's going to be a little louder, obviously, and let's check it out. Another thing I have to point out is NUGEN just gives you amazing metering tools. My left and right, it's just spot on every time. Now here's where the real advantage comes in. From the options, you could choose your streaming codec in advance. And this is where you would program Mastercheck to start giving you a reference to what your sound is going to sound like once it's streamed through YouTube, for example, or Pandora, or Apple. Right now I have it set to AES streaming practice, which is a good standard. Now, when I choose offset to match, it's actually going to take my audio and audition it as it would through that streaming practice. And we have it set to AES. So let's choose offset to match, and it's going to give me a difference right off the bat, -4.2 between my mix, my amplitude, my loudness right now, sorry, and the AES standard. Here's mine. And here's offset to match. So I'm already getting an idea of what it's going to sound like when it's reduced to -18 LKFS. Really good. Now I can get a feel for what it's going to sound like and make my dynamic changes in advance. Let's say I wanted to give it a little bit more or less headroom. Now this right here is a refresh button. So you can just select that anytime. All right. So let's take a look. Now we have an understanding of what we're going for. But the offset to match is a way to audition it. What if I wanted to really conform my mix? Well, one way that I like to do that is, let me go back to ozone, say -18. Let's say I want to create a target of -18 loudness. Down here in the bottom left corner, we can set learn threshold target loudness. Right now it's set to -14. If I double click that, I could set anything I want. I have a little trick. I usually go 1 dB down and hit enter. So if my target is 18, I'm going to choose -19. That's a little trick that I do, but I suggest you try it for yourself. Now what's going to happen is ozone's going to dynamically adjust to keep it at -19 LUFS. Okay, let's go back to this and let's change our operation here to LUFS. You don't have to, but I'm going to do that so everything has some continuity to it. All right, now when I press play, let's see if we have a nice constant -18. Now I offset. Not bad. Now instead of being -4.2, I'm only 0.7 louder. And that's just in that little section there. So I'm conforming my mastering now to give me the loudness that I want. I'm doing the loudness reduction, not the algorithms at whatever streaming service you want to use. So that's an advantage right there. And let me undo that. Now, next up, you have an external reference here, which we'll get into in a minute. But I want to show you something really, really cool. And let me take offset to match off. Right here, we've got a way to preview in real time your audio through a compression codec, like an MP3 or AAC. And I'm going to show you that. Let's go to none. And I'm going to select monitor. Now, by doing this, we're going to stream our audio through any one of these compression codecs, but it also gives us the ability to see if we're going to go over with any loudness here, because you don't want any, you don't want to go over. You don't want to overload the compression codec. So you could turn the volume down if you wanted. Now, by selecting any one of these, you could see what the settings are. Pardon me. A poor connection would obviously be a variable bit rate of about 40 kilobytes per second. Really bad. And High quality here is 192, if that's what they think. And download would be 256. Now you could change these too. Constant, it would be different for if you're using variable bit rate, by the way. Let's say I want to set that at 320 and hit OK. So now I can form that one. So let's audition it through a poor connection.
I do what I do, things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you.
Now here's a really cool feature. If you want to know what is being eliminated to create this truncated down MP3, select the difference button right here. Check this out. This is what's being removed from your audio to create a poor MP3. Let's go to a more medium quality. It's taking away a little bit less, but it's still removing some fidelity. Let's go to high quality. Hopefully you can hear that. So now that you can see the insight that Mastercheck provides you, not only with contouring the loudness personally yourself, using these tools to give you an advantage before you upload it to a streaming service, but you can also hear what's being removed through any one of these codecs. And you can choose and create your own codecs if you'd like. And let me deactivate that. Let's go back to monitor.
I do what I do.
And I'll choose none.
Take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you.
Now, if you wanted to use an external reference, let's say you wanted to match your loudness with a track that you have, you could do that too. Let me close Ozone. And the way we'll do that is I have a track here called Reference Mix. And I'm going to insert NUGEN Send. Now, this is included with Mastercheck. Here we go. This is really cool. It's going to allow Mastercheck to listen to the audio on that track, and it's going to give you information regarding it against the other track. So you're going to be able to see how loud this is and compare it to your own. And one thing I like to do is rename it, obviously. So just double click in the box, and this is how I like to use it. And I'll name it Test. There. Big and fancy, right? Now, you want an external connection. If you don't see it, come down to your settings and choose, if it says not connected, there's a word test. Choose test and go back. And now it says Mastercheck. So these two are now linked. So anytime I choose external reference and use the audition button, it's going to play the reference mix track. When I deactivate that, it's going to play the track I'm now mastering for streaming. Okay? Check it out.
I do what I do, things that
That's
take
my
away
track
from
I
you.
want to master
You
for
say I'm
streaming.
drifting,
And let's
but I'm
reference the
screwed
audio
if
track
I'm distant
from
you.
the reference track.
Too many lies, all these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind.
Now what you're looking at here is the difference. This is the difference value right here. I've got it activated. If you want to see the difference in the loudness, activate it there.
I do what I do, things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but
There's
I'm
my
screwed
mix,
if I'm distant from
and
you.
there's the
I'm
reference. So if I wanted to match that in amplitude, I could go back to my mastering, take this off, and now I can start to adjust my mastering to match the reference track.
I do what I do, things that take away
There we
from
go.
you. I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm
I eyeballed it and I got within 1.5. Not bad, actually. So as easy as that, all I did is adjust the threshold here on my maximizer, and I've got relatively the same loudness now as my reference track. So that's a quick look into Mastercheck, but obviously the best way is to find out for yourself. Tools like this, once you begin using them, you will definitely see the advantage and how they're going to give you insight into your mixes and make your streaming music way more quality and have a cutting edge advantage with the competition every time. My name's Carlo, and thanks for watching.
I do